How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new video. My name is FaZe Crypto. Feel free to follow us on Snapchat, and of course make sure that you subscribe to the channel and put on post notifications. So when it comes to XRP, take this logic into consideration. The people who are actually aware of what's going to happen involving Ripple XRP. Let's talk about the good news that's on the horizon and the recent bad news that we see. It's all controlled. Obviously, the people who want to fill their bags with as much XRP as possible because they're aware as things develop into the future, yada yada, these people are positioning themselves in the most key place strategically, and they want people panicking. They want people disregarding their portfolios because they're panicky about the space and all these different things. And this is pretty much the case for a lot of these different technologies. It's all a game, it's all a strategy, and they want to have the cryptocurrency in enough pockets and enough of the right pockets strategically over time, and this involves institutional investors and the question of regulations and of course strong hands and people who are and essentially whales all tie into this. So when it comes to Ripple and considering what's happening, we do see a definite interest. I mean, Madonna partners with Ripple, one of the latest celebrities to hop on the Ripple bandwagon, which is something that should not be ignored. I mean, seeing how the mainstream culture is adapting to and warming up to certain cryptocurrencies and not so much with others. I mean, Ellen DeGeneres, you know, this is people's like grandparents are aware of Ripple because they've seen it on Ellen DeGeneres. This is pretty interesting because a lot of these cryptocurrencies are essentially underground, more or less. Only certain sections of the internet even talk about them, but Ripple XRP is right there out in the open, and this does say a lot for how Ripple has been positioning itself. And of course it is an interesting indicator to see which cryptos are managing to rise up in the light of the recent wash that we were seeing. Everything was in the red, and then essentially, I mean, certain cryptos recover faster than others. Okay, so we're looking at $225 billion, and of course we're looking at a lot of value that has been just completely and totally flushed out of cryptocurrency. And now obviously this is going to be good news for some people and it's going to be bad news for others, and of course it's going to make people who haven't really done their research panicky, and it's going to make people who've been holding on for this long clutch their fists tighter and essentially hold on and wait for the ride. You know, it's a bumpy ride, but essentially what's a couple $1 billion off the market cap among friends, am I right? But all jokes aside, seeing things taking this sort of downward loop, I mean, of course a lot of different variables coming into account, but of course it is sad to see this sort of value being wiped off. But like I said, I mean, this is only a drop in the bucket compared to what's happening involving cryptocurrency on a larger scale. Of course, we're seeing all these different Oprah launch built-in cryptocurrency wallet for desktop browser. Cryptocurrency is still going to be a huge part of the future. It has nothing, all these little bumps in the road aren't even going to matter. People will just, it'll be some obscure, days like today will just be obscure references in the history of crypto coming up till this point. Does anybody remember the market dip of July 15th, 2017? Because I'm pretty sure that there are people who are feeling like that was the end of the world back then. Pretty similarly with the market dip back when, you know, February 14th or whatever. Pick any point on this chart of the history of what's happened with cryptocurrency, and there's going to be days similar to today and like yesterday, and there's going to be days in the future when different cryptocurrencies are performing at different rates. But I digress. A point that I want to get across here is that the decline of Bitcoin, if I want to even call it the decline of Bitcoin, but it is a ding that it has taken recently. It was at 7,000, now it's at 6,377. It's pretty much the same story that we've been hearing about Bitcoin for the whole of 2018. The whole time we've been seeing the prices going pretty much either sideways or down, or it's revisiting some pretty low point. It's just trying to creep its way back up to I'm sure that there's people who haven't been involved with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency for as many years as some of the more hardened veterans who I know are watching this video. But of course, I mean, my hat's off to anybody who's just now trying to get involved with cryptocurrency and learn about these things, because it is a very tough space. And I mean, I'm going to talk about Ripple XRP, and I'm going to continue to make content about Ripple XRP and continue to explore the different potential things that are happening involving it. I mean, it is interesting to see how all these different celebrities and so forth have been hopping on board the bandwagon, choosing their select cryptocurrency, but Bitcoin doesn't get this sort of mainstream attention, and that is also something that's worth noting when it comes to seeing how these technologies are acting. And then of course, in this certain market, in this sort of dynamics, which are the quickest technologies to recover. Of course, any cryptocurrency that I see their name right along something like Google definitely is something that's worth noting, and especially when we see the positive attention that Cardano's been getting, having its name listed alongside these others with terms like bull run. It is interesting to see how a lot of these different analysis have pointed in this technology, and ultimately I do have to share in the general sentiment. Cardano really does have a good idea of where the future is headed, and when you look at the roadmap and what they seek to accomplish, the Cardano team really do seem to be tuned in and tapped into the conversation that's happening currently involving cryptocurrency, especially when it comes to regulations. And I think that where a lot of other cryptocurrencies fall short, well, that's actually where Cardano is going to be really having a lot of its success. And ultimately, I think that there's a lot of time in between right now and when we're going to see mass adoption beginning to take place. But I'm in particular very excited in seeing how Cardano is going to be developing and coming into its own. And it's really one of those cryptocurrencies that seems as if the community that's built around it is among the most aware and educated in the whole space. But that's also very tongue-in-cheek, because I mean, there's some smart people who are interested in all sorts of cryptocurrencies. But I think that as far as looking at how the establishment goes, it's not forced. It's essentially an organic community, and it's mostly built with like cited information is what I'm saying, and news sources that are validated. And Cardano does speak for itself on a lot of these tokens when you look at what they're accomplishing and of course seeking to accomplish within the year time frame. I believe 2019 is going to be an interesting year for this technology. So in this video, we're going to be discussing Cardano and a lot of the really significant details that could be playing a big part moving forward, especially in the world that we're currently seeing, and especially with all the developments that happen now, with more people all around the world being connected by the internet and getting phones and smartphones and being connected in that global community. But I think Cardano definitely does have an idea of where things are going to go. All these certain indicators. I mean, hey, I'm not the biggest fan of Ripple myself, but I like to be smart about things and pretty much leave emotions aside. And I think that Ripple fundamentally does have a good team behind it, and a lot of these different establishment connections that are being made involving Ripple and the technology and the greater possibilities that are in store for it. I think that there are a lot of good signs as far as seeing how Ripple dominance could one day in fact replace Bitcoin dominance, and looking at all the different partnerships that Ripple does have lined up for itself. And of course, the long-term perspective for Ripple is looking fairly optimistic, and I definitely do still have faith in cryptocurrency, and of course it's international variables that lead us to have numbers like they do and the fluctuations that we currently see, and I think that ultimately we will see the market eventually get back to an all-time high perspective, and there's brighter horizons coming up ahead, but it is important to do your own research. And of course, remember, I'm not a financial advisor, so do more research beyond watching this video. Of course, obviously this video is just for entertainment, educational purposes. I'm not your dad, essentially. But all that being said, I mean, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure that you're following Ripple on their Twitter, and then of course, if you guys are interested in connecting with us, you can do so by following us on our Twitter. Very easily done. And of course, all that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this content. Make sure that you connect with us on Snapchat, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.